Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Hi.
For joining in tonight. We are here with Jymie, Lynn, Darling. I know I probably just screwed that up for some reason.
It's Jymie.
Hang on. She is one of our...
You can call me Jay. You can call me, but
Jymie, Darling. I got it. There we go.
Jymie. Yeah.
Jymie. Why do I call you Jymie? I think I'm yeah. Anyway, I screw up names regularly. That's me. So Jymie has so much knowledge about paranormal. I know I've learned a lot from her, quite a bit from her, and the stuff that I do. And you can ask my team members. I bring her name up a lot when we're doing stuff. Mm-hmm. They probably feel like they already know her because of the way I talk about her. We'll let you introduce yourself a little bit, and I'm going to share this all over the place.
Oh, what did you say? I'm just Jymie. I've got, Lord, let's not completely slip my age. Let's just say I have 30 years or more in the occult. I am one of the go-to demonologists in the field. I have not only a book and studied knowledge of it, I have a practical and classical knowledge of the occult and demonology. I'm also practicing in the religion of paganism. I won't get specific into which branch, but it's a unique experience that I've had in life, where I've been able to study with some of the greatest people. I've been able to travel and see places that most people haven't, and I have been doing paranormal for about, let's date my age, right? 25 or more years. At 25 or more years, that would put me as a wee baby. But
yes,
yeah, it's I have a scientific background in the paranormal community, with the uniqueness of a demonology background at the same time. I'm also a teacher, an author, a horse rider, a smartass,
an all-around badass, pretty much.
Yep. My horse doesn't think so. My horse says, "Where's my carrots?"
So what got you into demonology? Like, how do you become a demonologist?
When I started into paganism and the occult, and everybody goes, "Ooh, the word occult," and the word occult simply means belief in the unknown. Mm-hmm. So there isn't a religion out there that's not an occult religion. Even the mainstream religions, even though you say, "You're a Catholic, you're an occultist," and they go, "Ooh, I crucify you for that." And I go, "Oh, by technical definition, it's exactly what it is, since it's just the belief in the unknown." But
all they hear is the word cult. They don't hear occult.
If they do hear occult, it is almost synonymous with Satanism, mm-hmm. which is really just a very small branding of the occult and on its own, and it's not what you think it is. It's the people who have got the upside down crosses are the people who have are actually belongs to any of the formats of Christian religion. because true Satanists don't believe in a God. It's not that. It's a whole different theory. Those that are anti-God have to believe in the Christian God to believe in that, and they belong to the Christian religion. But when I was in high school, and I went to a Catholic high school, I went to a Catholic school in my life. I went into my religion class, and I'll never forget it. Mr. Harvey, he looked like Jesus. He had the beard. He wore the Jesus sandals. He was a nice, tiny man, very quiet. I mean, just everything you think, right? And he walked in, and he had 2 books in his hands, and he had a Bible. He had Grimm's Fairy Tales. And he said, "Can anybody tell me the difference between these 2 books?" And at the time, Catholic family, but my hand goes up. I'm a freshman in high school. And he said, "Yeah, you." Well, he said, "One is the Word of God, and one is a fairy tale with a meaning at the end of how to behave, a moral of the story." It was Aesop's Tales, not Grimm's. Aesop's Tales. And Jesus got mad at me. He took both books and he threw them over the top of my head, and all I could think of was, I pissed off Jesus. First day of class, and I've pissed off Jesus in a brand new school because I'm a freshman. This is it. I might as well quit. And he gets in my face and he's beating my head. And he goes, "You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong." Both books were written by man with a moral at the end of the tale. Because you keep your mind open and you'll live longer. So I want you to remember one thing and one thing only if you don't remember anything else from me. All beliefs started here. All beliefs are trying to get here. And they've done this all the way up. He goes, "It's just what suits you." So I started studying ancient religions. Now, demonology was still something that I steered away from. And again, a wise man came to me, and I can't remember what his white man name was. I really can't, because I simply called him by his name, which was Those Many Horses. And he brought me a stained glass window that he made for me. And it had an eagle flying away. I had a wolf walking away down the road. I had a squirrel up front sitting there with a nut in his hand. And he goes, "This is you." And I said, "I don't understand. I don't understand." And he goes, "I'm going to tell you a story." He goes, "There are 3 paths that a person can take in life. The path of the wolf, the path of the eagle, and the path of the squirrel. The wolf joins a pack, and it can only think what the pack thinks. It doesn't deviate outside the pack. It attacks outside the pack because it's unknown to him, and therefore it frightens him. The eagle flies high above. He knows everything. He sees everything. He participates in nothing and talks to no one. And then there's the squirrel. The squirrel jumps from tree to tree to tree to tree to tree. He knows every nut in every tree. Sometimes he doesn't like that tree and he doesn't use it. He doesn't eat from it. But he knows it. He understands it. Sometimes you find out that what you didn't like 10 years ago, you need today. Because squirrels will meet each other. They'll play, they'll run, they'll share information. And then they go on their way with no hard feelings. Come back around, no problem. So I want you to remember, the squirrel is the most dangerous path a person can take in life. You see, you're outside the wolf pack, and it doesn't understand you, so they will attack you. And the eagle's jealous of you. You know what he knows, but you're not afraid to touch it. And then, of course, when I teach this, the saying, I always give my 2 cents to the story, which is you see the squirrel, be the squirrel. But if you eat the squirrel, you're a hillbilly. Don't eat the squirrel.
Squirrel's good.
But so as I went through the theory, my theory in life was understand every tree. Demonology is just a tree in the forest. And considering every single religion has its own set of demons, it would only make sense to learn both the light and the dark of everything. Because after all, as it is above, so shall it be below. And it's the absolute understanding of perfect balance or polarity, middle pillar, however you want to classify it. Every religion has their own name for it. But it's understanding everything. And again, you don't have to eat from that tree, but you should definitely know that tree. And as I started studying it, I realized a few things. Number one, 99% of the time there isn't one. They're very rare, and they're few and far in between. Well, it doesn't mean that there's not evil energy or aggressive energy. I'm saying a true demon. But when you do get one, boy, you better know that tree. Because if you get one that's, say, Babylonian, you throw the Lord's Prayer at it. What does it care?
Yeah.
What does it care? It would be the same as if you came to me and started speaking Greek to me. I only know a few words. I'm just going to sit there and go,
Okay. Yeah. Smile or not, boys. Smile or not.
right? Right? And if shaking my head yes makes you go, I go. Whatever.
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing to the demon. And if you're going to play with energies, you need to know the diametrically opposed energies at the same time. But you should also know how to recognize them to which tree they go to and what language you will have to use. It's not like the Hollywood movies where the Catholic priest comes in and sprinkles the holy water and throws. If it doesn't acknowledge holy water, if it was something that never existed in its time, it's just like, I needed a bath?
Yeah.
Stop getting me wet, stupid. Stop throwing shit at me. It's, and people don't understand that. They think that they go in and all they got to do is have the holy water and a cross. Listen, if it doesn't understand what a cross is, what good is it going to do to it? It's narcissistic of one religion to believe that its religion is so powerful that it can make a history of energies tremble at its feet. It can't. Again, all religions started here and all religions are ending here. And they've done this all the way up, beg, borrow, steal, and killed for information. But to be honest with you, it's not like one word cures all. And I think that's where a lot of people get into trouble. And because of this very interesting concept of it being very different per incident, I became very curious. And so, say you study Santeria, well, then you need to understand Palo Mayombe. If you study Radha Vodou, then you must understand Petro Vodou. If you study any of the Christian faith, you have to understand Satanism or the demons in hell. You also have to understand that the Egyptian demons aren't going to answer to the Lord's Prayer no more than, say, the Nunash Mush from some of the Native American tribes, particularly those on the West Coast here. In fact, you might even anger them more. And what I mean by that, and if you think about it, Native Americans were oppressed, enslaved, and slaughtered by the Christian crusades over here, the missionaries. What makes you think that the Nunash Mush want to hear the Lord's Prayer?
Yeah, that makes sense that would anger them more, because they're like, you are the one that killed me.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is, and you have to understand that the Nunash Mush exist where there was tragedy. In other words, I go to some of the mission grounds, and there are some mission grounds that have nothing. And then there are those that have burial grounds underneath them, where they just plowed Native American bodies into it. I went to one up here now, Lompoc, and it's a mission. You can get on there at night, and I went to it, and they had up on the hill, a burning pit for animal fat. And the animal fat, you see the drainage hole come down, and they made candles, the tallow candles, and that's how they sold them there at the mission, and that's how they made money. But there are claims that there was a secondary system up there, that when they ran out of animal fat, they burned Indians and made human candles. And now we went up there, and I studied it in physics and my whole scientific background. And I started digging, and everybody's like, "Oh, please don't dig. Please don't dig. I don't think we have the permit here for you to be down like a little wild dog digging with your hands." But I found a secondary drainage system that went to a different tallow pot, and it had a different smell to it. Now, those are the kind of things that when there's that kind of tragedy, that kind of violence on their way to being killed, the Nunash Mush was called forth. And it was called forth to avenge. Avenge me. All right? So now you go there, and the Nunash Mush is there, and I'm the wrong skin color, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, but I am part Lakota tribe, so if you can just chill it out a little bit, I'm on your side, right? And people freak out and go, "Our Father, who art in heaven," and I'm like, "Oh, no. You see, those are the people that burned them. They're called to avenge upon those people. So please, I beg of you, stop saying that prayer. You gotta feed my horses tonight, and if I don't come home, they're gonna be very confused where I went. Yeah. They're not going to understand what the heck just happened. The same as I went to a cemetery, an old cemetery, and it was a Protestant cemetery. And there's all these tombstones, right? And then one over to the side. And it was weird, just one off, like no man's land near the gate. And I started researching the cemetery, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to research this, and I'm going to continue to research it." And what it was the founder of the town, Spadra, his son got a Native American girl pregnant, and she was one of the last of her tribe. And that's a big no-no in the 1800s. You don't have this. Mm-hmm. So she and him and a doctor went into the room for childbirth, and it was Tragic. No one survived. Not the babies, not her, just the doctor and him. She had twins. They didn't name the babies. They buried them on the consecrated side of the cemetery and buried her away from her babies, the unconsecrated side. So that in the belief that the energies could never meet again, being that she was a heathen. That cemetery has spot fires in it. There's all kinds of horrible things that happen in that cemetery, and I can't tell you how much I've got on tape from that cemetery. And of course, the rule of thumb is always right. And I don't normally run in an investigation. I'm old. I don't run, and I'm really not frightened of things. However, as I'm consecrating the ground of her children and her to the west gate in Native, over at the founder's side, a big fog appears, and I'm like, and you can hear a sonic boom. Now everybody's out there and they got their little tape recorders, and all you hear on people's tape recorders is me flying by going, "Run, run!" And I'm jogging after this. I'm hungry because I'm the slowest of the herd, and I'm not going to be the last one of the herd. Okay? And it sits behind a railroad train, and the train came. Now, this is 11 o'clock at night. We don't have trains run here at 11 o'clock at night. We just don't. Not cargo trains. Passenger trains, maybe, but even then, they stop at a certain time because of the laws for the noise. And it stops and blocks us into the cemetery. And the fog is coming down. Somebody goes, "Say the Lord's Prayer." I said, "Yeah, okay, first of all, I believe that this isn't the Native side that's angry. I think it's the Protestant side. And given what they did in their lives, I don't think the Lord's Prayer is going to do much good." And they said, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I'm waiting for the train. The train's still stopped there. And I'm like, "What's the train doing? Get moving." Right? So I figured what I would do in a case like this is that, given the ignorance of the time period of religions, I would go ahead and do a King Solomon thing in Jewish. It should give the energy pause. Given that it wasn't a demon, just give the energy pause. Right? So I did a whole thing. So, Yode, Ba, Hey, right? Bit. And the fog stopped. And I said, "To hell with this." And I went under the train. And everybody went, and they followed me. If I'm leaving, you should probably leave. I'm just saying. Roll. Learn to roll. That's where coming the little chunky comes into the good, because we can roll. And I get out, and we pass like 5 or 6 kids going in, and the train has started and it's cleared the pathway. And these 5 or 6 kids go in, and they got beer in there, cases of beer, and they're like, "Party on, old people!" And we're like, "Oh, okay. You might want to think about, okay, it's all right, It's right." So we're packing up, we're leaving. We hear a train come back and stop, and I'm like, "This can't be good." So we continue to pack up. Somebody goes, "Are you going to go in there and save them?" And I said, "No." No, they should run. They're younger than me.
Yeah.
Right? One kid came out of 6, and I should tell you that 6 of us came out, 6 went in. No, 7 of us went in. 7 of them came in, 6 of us went in. 6 of us came out. 1 of them came out, leaving 6 in the cemetery. And he's sitting in the back of the truck, and he's holding himself like this, rocking himself. And he said, "Are you okay?" He goes, I said, "Are your friends alive?" And he goes, "I don't know."
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Sorry.
He goes, "I don't know. I 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 don't know." So I go back, and it's different. It's a different energy. The rest of the kids come out, but they are shook to their core. few years later, I go back to the cemetery, broad daylight. It's locked. I call one of my team members and I say, "Hey, I know it's locked." I said, "What's your secret way around again?" And she tells me, "You just got to go around the train track and under the freeway, follow the track, you'll hit the road that goes in." I say, "Okay." So I go in, and it says no trespassing, and unless you have business here. Well, I figure I have business here, so I'm not trespassing. And I pass a tagger in the railway tunnel, and honestly, it's whatever. He's doing nice work. He's not. He's just this guy with spray paint. He's doing a beautiful art piece, and I'm like, pfft. And he gets all frightened of me, and I'm like, "Yeah, do I look like a cop?" "No, you're safe." And I said, "Has anybody come through here?" And he goes, "No." And I said, "How long have you been here?" He goes, "Hours." And I said, "Akidak." So I go down. Now, the cemetery has got a large hill on the side, and there's just nothing there. On the other side, just goes into mountains, ranges. In the back is a pet rescue and like a humane society. I picked a dog up there once, but there's nothing else there. So no big deal, right? No hikers. There's not real trails. It's just a really crappy mountain. There's nothing spectacular about it. So I go in, and we're looking around, and I got to tell you, it's 5:30 at night, and it's bright light out. And I'm just kind of looking around because I wanted to see some stuff in daylight. And I look over to the side, and there's a guy standing there at the outside of the fence, and he's tall, and he's white, and he's got a hat, and I'm like, can't see any features of his face. Well, I look over at the other half, and I say, "Cams, let's go." She goes, "What?" I said, gather up all the equipment and cameras." She goes, "What's going on?" I said, I don't have a good feeling about this guy over here. Let's just go. He wants to be here, let him be here. And I look over, and he's up against the fence, and I'm thinking to myself, "Are you peeing? Are you peeing?" Let's see. Put it back in your pants, bro. You're peeing. I think you're peeing. Disgusting. It's a biohazard, nugget. And it's disrespectful. So he's doing his thing, right? We get going, and I look over at him, and he's sitting down on a rock. Still, I can't see a single feature of his face. So it's odd. And I look up on the side of the mountain, and there's what I assume to be people in hoodies, black hoodies. They're coming down the mountain. And I'm thinking, is this a gang thing? Is this a gang thing? Did I run into a gang thing? Is this a ritualist? Is this a Satanist? Is this stupid kids? What is this? And I look at my other half, and I go, go. And she goes, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know what's going on." And I'm looking, and they're coming down in a perfect serpentine. And I look at her to tell her to go, and I turn around, and I'm talking, this is a lot of distance they have to cover to come down the side of this mountain. And they're already at the bottom of the mountain with this guy in white. And I look back at her, and I went, "Run." She goes, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Run. Run. Don't look back at me. Just run. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I can't protect you. I can't worry about you. If this is some kind of kid thing, some kind of initiation to some sort of stupidity, I can take care of myself, but I can't worry about you. You can't worry about where you're at. So run." She takes off through the tunnel. Tiger's still there. I get going. I get to the tunnel. And in the meantime, my phone had been ringing, and I didn't hear it. And it's one of my team members, and she goes, "I drove by to see if you're okay." And this is on my voicemail. Get out of there. Get out of there now. There's a black mist in the gate, and it's coming towards the cemetery. Get out of there. Now, Jymie, you got to get out. Why aren't you picking up your phone? Get out of there. You're not alone. Get out of there, honey. And of course, I don't know this. I don't even have a bing that I have a voicemail. So I stopped, scared the tiger again. Hello, dude. He goes, hello. And I go, did anybody come through after I did? He goes, no. I said, and you're sure nobody came through here today? He goes, positive. And I said, is it possible that somebody came through before you? Oh, and he goes, maybe, but I scoped out everything to make sure I wouldn't, get caught. I said, interesting. He goes, why? I said, because there are people here. Well, and he goes, what are you talking about? There can't be people here, honey. You hear the crunch of the rocks, of footsteps. This tiger looks at me, and he goes, and I go, there are people here. And I can't vouch for how nice they are. So he packs up his paints, and I'm talking to him, and he goes, go on. You go. I'm okay. I go, okay. So I start going through the tunnel. He gets to the end, and he looks around the corner to see them. He comes back. His eyes are as wide as they can be, and he is Snow White. And he looked at me, and he screamed, run, run, run. And he took off running the other direction. Now, I start to jog. I'm still not going to run. So I get to this big open field. It's like a football field. I see my other half in the car. I'm going to the car. I look behind me. Nothing. No one. So I just start to walk fast, and I grab my phone, and I'm listening. I see I have a voice message. I listen into my voice message. I'm still hightailing it to the car, and I'm acting like I'm talking to somebody. Yeah, I'm out here at Spadra, and now I'm in the middle of that big field heading towards the street, blah, blah, blah. Making sure that if it's actually human beings, they know that somebody knows I'm there. You're less apt to kill me if somebody knows where I'm at. Right? Because you just can't make me disappear. So I turn like this, and the thing of black is coming around the corner. So I damn football field. Right? I turn, and they're right there at my face. I cannot see any facial features. None whatsoever. I turn forward, and I keep walking. And I turn, and they're about 300 feet behind me. No sounds of footsteps. Nothing. Turn again, they're right there. I have no idea what it is. None. It hasn't spoken. There's no discernible features of it. No symbolism. No, nothing. I can't distinguish anything that would give me an idea of what it is. So I get to the end, and it falls back a little bit more. And I can almost hear it smelling me when it gets up close to me. And I cross over a bridge, and there's a little waterway. And it won't cross the bridge. It goes all the way back and just slinks in reverse back to the cemetery up the hill. I'm the guy in white, standing and watching. Well, I get to the car, and I get in it. Got to get in it, and the car, she's got it running. And she's locked my side of the car. So, yeah. Open the damn door! And she opens the door. Now, you're the worst getaway driver in history! You locked me out of the car! How can you do that? I told you to have the car ready so we can get out of here. It doesn't work if you don't let me in. What the hell's wrong with you? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, what's wrong with you? So I go home, and I start studying. Well, the Nephilim are all in black. They're not in white. So it's not Nephilim. They're tall and black and slender. This wasn't black, dressed in black, it was dressed in white. So I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking, and I am researching books like you would not believe. And the only thing I could come up with is that it is a non-religious, theology-based soul taker, soul collector. So many people have wandered into that cemetery and committed suicide from the energy that's in that cemetery, that there's something they're collecting and drawing people in. It is because he makes you want to stop and give up. I wanted to lay down in the middle of the football field and give up. And that's not me. I'm a fighter. Every instinct in my body said, go, go, go. And my mind was saying, we should just go ahead and give up. We're not going to make it. So the idea is that if I walked in there and went, Our Father, who art in heaven, this is a non-religious, non-theology-based actual demon. What prayer do you use? It evidently doesn't give a damn about the Lord's Prayer. It's not going to care about anything from the Kabbalah. I can do the West Gate banishing of Native Americans, but it doesn't care. It's not Nunashmush. It's something completely different. So in that case, you have to run the idea of what is in common through all the theologies. Because remember, everything started here, trying to get here. So what is the base in common to protect yourself? And the answer is easy. Salt. Salt and water. Salt and water. And it makes sense because it wouldn't cross that little bridge with me that had water running through it. So, in many cases, understanding the tree of demons can save your life. It can explain things. But if you go through and you say, listen, I understand demons, I'm the Lord's Prayer, sage, I'll just throw salt at everything. Sometimes salt's not enough. Sometimes salt only holds it back. It doesn't banish it. It just holds it away from you. So that's the first part of your question. So how does one become a demonologist? One studies every tree and all the branches on the tree. And it is a forever learning practice. And the bad part about that right now today in the world is people who want to teach. They don't want to teach the darker side. They want to make everything light and fluffy and fun and feel good. And the problem is that you get these kids that you see Goetia. And they go, oh, Goetics. I can say the Lord's Prayer at the Goetics. Well, and I'm like, you can't because those are man-made demons. And they come from the Middle East. And they're like, what do you mean by man-made demons? And I'm like, so there's entities that have been here forever, came out of the abyss. In the Egyptian religion, which borrows from the Babylonian religion, which says they borrow from somebody older, but we haven't dug up that civilization yet. They talk about the universe and energies all coming out from the sea of the abyss. And it's really a beautiful picture that they paint, that 1,000,000 miles of darkness and abyss is a watery ocean upon which the bark of all energy floats. One must remember, all energy floats there. And so when you learn one set of energies, there's always another. Now, there are those who are understanding of, so you have those kind of demons, right? And then you have another set of demons. And those are called egregores. They're demonic egregores. Servitors is another name for it. Those are mainly what you're going to come across. See, skinwalkers those are demons. No Nashmush is an egregore. It's demonic. And what that is and we learned more about that with King Solomon. King Solomon wanted the touch of gold in his life. So he gathered all the most powerful magicians in the kingdoms, the tribes. He brought the 12 tribes together and he said, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. We don't know if he said it that way, but it's the way my story goes.
He probably did.
Right? I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, baby. Right?
There you go.
There you go. He basically gathered them up and said, I want you to make egregores. And the egregores are going to teach me about nature, and they're going to teach me languages, and they're going to teach me where the gold is found, and they're going to teach this and that and this and that. And there's 72 people that were gathered. And each one of them had a job to make a different egregore that did something else. Right? Had some kind of beautiful thing to it. And the magician said, why would we give you that? Well, it's actually against the flow of universal energy to do this. And he goes, well, here's your choices. I told you it was an offer you can't refuse. You're going to do it, and I'm going to make your family rich. I'm going to elevate your family. You have to die, though, because you know how to control the egregore. And if I refuse, and he goes, well, if you refuse, I kill your family in front of you. And then I'll imprison you. And they went, I think I'm going to go with option one. Now, if I have to do something and you're going to kill me anyway, I'm going to set a booby trap in it. And that's exactly what these magicians did. They set booby traps inside their egregores. You can use them, but then there's a price to pay. You bring them forth, and they will give you what you want for a very short time. And then they will destroy you. Just like King Solomon was destroyed. 12 tribes of Israel was broken up. He was penniless. His health was ruined. He was a laughingstock. He had no power. He had everything. They talk about the wisdom of Solomon, splitting the baby and figuring out who, right? He died with nothing. Nothing. See, he was given everything for a very short period. And then the booby trap hit. Or what I like to call the back end payment. Right? You always got a back end payment. And that's the problem. Now, once they're called forth, you still got these little suckers running through and running around. Now you got to figure out which one it is, because there's 72 of them. And now you got to figure out how to get rid of them. Banish them back. Now, he took all that information, knowing that everything was going wrong. He sealed it in a clay jar. He said, do not open. No matter what, do not open. Throw it in the Dead Seas. Don't open this. Right? Hundreds of years later, thousands of years later, man found it. Said, do not open no matter what. I opened it.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
And thus we have all this information on Goetia. Unfortunately, they've made video games with it. They've made D&D style games with it. People think that it's easy, and they're led to believe that if they know enough, they can circumvent the back-end payment. And because there comes a point where you know so much that you forget to be humble. Always remember in demonology, you bleed, they don't. Your job is to make them believe that you're more superior than they are. It doesn't mean you are. People get used to the fact that I'm more superior. And that's a great attitude going in. But then they actually believe their own line of jive. And they go in there and they go, I'm so superior. I can be the one that beats the system. You always have to remember to be humble. You're dealing with energies that could legitimately rip your soul from you. Remember, you bleed. They don't. Your mind is fragile. There's an energy format. Your format is fragile. This format that we're in, this is fragile. Their format isn't so fragile. You have to convince them that it is and that you have the power to do something to them that can make their existence incredibly uncomfortable. If they think for a moment that they've got one over on you, or they have enough time to learn you, you're in trouble. So I tell people a lot, you want to learn how to be a demonologist? You learn all the trees in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do, you remember, at the end of the day, you bleed. They don't. The human mind is fragile. You can snap. They don't. They can show you things that your mind can't handle. You can't show them a single thing that they don't know. It's like the Ghostbusters scene and he goes, "Are you a god?" And everybody goes, "Well, no, we're scientists." And he goes, "Then die." And right? And he get and Bill Murray goes, "The next time a demon asks you, the Sumerian demon asks you if you're a god, you say yes." Right? You say yes. The aspect is that you go in with this knowledge of how to handle them, but with the acting part of, yes. Are you a god? Yes, I am. I can call you forth and I can banish you therein. I have that authority and power. You do? To prove it, I know your language. No need to get testy. There's no need for testiness. Now, I can give you some things. I don't want anything from you. Remember, I'm a god. What is it that you can give unto me that I cannot give unto myself? Riches. Got them. Well, that's another failure inside the demonologist world. I can give you riches. Really? What kind? Well, if you're a god, you don't need them. But so now what you've just done is you've told the demon, I'm not a god. And I can be controlled by greed. It's a very particular field, and it takes a very particular person to be able to run true demonology. And you certainly can't show any fear. Remember, you bleed. You don't need something coming from behind you. Like I said, I started to jog a little bit, but I never ran. And there was never fear. It was more along the lines of, and I just ignored it. Instead of turning and going, in the name of Jesus, I command thee back to the darkness, demon. And oh, good, there's no symbology on that. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to ignore it. No. And people go, well, won't it get irritated and do something more to you? No, 9 times out of 10, if you're ignoring it, it believes that you can't see it. Remember, it's not a mind reader, guys. It's not a mind reader. It's just an energy format. It's not a mind reader. It can't get in your mind. It's unless it tells you it's going to, and that's more of a projection trick for you. And again, I refer back to Ghostbusters when he says, the destructor will be what's in your mind. And they all go, clear your head, don't think of anything. Don't think of anything. And he goes, it's been chosen. And he goes, no, it hasn't been chosen. We didn't think of anything. And he's like, like, what'd you think of it? He goes, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from my childhood. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man could never hurt us. And all of a sudden, the damn big marshmallow's walking down the street. And you're just like, oh, clear your head, right? But that's a projection. It tells you something, and then you project that energy, and it clings onto it. So, one of the big things that I tell people when learning demonology is you have to learn how to control your emotions. You also have to learn how to control your mind. So, an absolute, can't show fear. You can't show doubt. You can't show guilt. You can't project what it projects something in your mind that could scare you. Because if it was going and in your head you're thinking, oh my God, what if it's a giant spider and it's got like 15 teeth and 37 eyes and one of them and 2 of them are clown heads, and all of a sudden that's what comes around the corner. You're like, well, that's because you've projected. That's what your fear is. And it said, I can give you that. That's not a problem, my love. I can do that for you. So now a different set of training comes in. If you're going to be a book demonologist, you're going to be a practical demonologist. Everybody's a book demonologist. Everybody's got to be an eagle. Okay? Everybody has to be an eagle. Have to be an eagle before you become a squirrel. That's key. So you learn everything. Okay? Everything there is. And then you go through and you start your transformation over to the squirrel side. And in that technique, you have to learn immediate breathing techniques that can clear your mind. I do the breathing, the breaths, the sacred breaths. 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out. 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out for seven times. So that you're 777. Okay? This clears your mind. Focuses your energy and it brings you down because it takes away the adrenaline. Now you can think. Now you're thinking, you're processing, you're doing everything. You don't have to do it in a very timely manner because now you're standing there like a god. When you've got enough information and you've figured out which way it's going to go, you then figure out whether or not you have to walk away and return with the right items. Or if you've got it in your little travel case of those of you who have ever met me know that I travel with a little tiny box with little tiny tubes in them. I call it my, like I say, I'm Felix the cat, the magical cat. Right? Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Right? I got something from all the theologies in there. And I know most of the banishings by heart. So I can reach into my little bag of tricks now. Say the words, hit the magical tricks out. Sometimes you can't think of what it is. Like I couldn't figure out what was on the side of the map, so I left. I simply walked away as God. I can cross water and you cannot. That makes me greater than you. We can return back and deal with it. Once I've researched it. Everything is not meant to be dealt with at that moment. And a lot of beginning demonologists think that. I know enough. That's salt. Yeah, again, that only pushes it back. What happens when it's done being pushed back? And what?
I would think it would come back tenfold.
That's right. It comes back stronger because it thinks that you've given it the best you have. It figures out how to get around. It figures out how to go through, over, under, something, right? Draw you into it. It's the rush where people think, I've got to run towards it now. Take care of it now. John Wayne it, right? Listen here, pilgrim. I've got salt. No, you don't, John Wayne. Step back. Okay? Because once you throw the salt and you've got it where you want it, you still got to do something else. If you don't know what it is, all you've done is giving it time to figure you out. Don't do that. You bleed. I can't. Your mind snaps. It's not enough. It's not enough. So the trick of it is and I love using cultural references, especially movies or music. Yeah, know when to hold them. Know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. Okay? And you literally have to know that as a demonologist, and this is another part of the training. It's a very multi-dimensional training. You got to know when to say, I don't have it. I don't have it. I got to walk away now. I've held it back. I'm not going to give it time to understand me. I'm going to walk away like a god and come back later. When I come back later, it's like, oh, God, I know you. You're back. Right? You got these people that go in it like John Wayne. And they do more harm than good. Because they're giving it time to figure things out. And you can't give it that kind of time. So if you don't have a little kid, you come back and you handle it later. So you have to know a lot of things. But when you're ready, say I did the 7 second, right, in, 7 times, I'm grounded, I'm thinking. I'm studying it. It's a bit confused by what I've done over there. I've studied it. I've seen some symbology. I've heard a word. I've got a phrase. I've heard something cultural about it. It rings true to a philosophy that I've studied, and I've studied them all. Okay? I then do the 3 second breath. 3 seconds, 3 times. 333, because now my energy is growing. Now it's looking at me as my energy is getting bigger. Remember, they can see your energy. They don't necessarily see your body. They can see your energy, right? So I've taken my energy very small with the 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out, but I've done something very unique to it, and it's confused, and I'm not scared, and now all of a sudden, and I am huge, because now your energy is up without the adrenaline rush, without your mind racing, focused. Now I can hit it. And so you have to understand energy manipulation, both of yourself and how you're going to format it towards the demon. How do we do that, you might ask? Another set of training. So simple. You take an old sponge. Dry or wet, I don't care. I really don't, okay? I think you can get them online. I've seen them on eBay, too. It's called a... kinetic or something like that, psychokinetic tools. Yeah, but you get it and you can build one. You can take a square of, you take a sponge and you cut a square out of it. Okay? Take a needle, regular needle. Somebody goes, fine point? And I don't really care. It's a needle. What size hole in the needle? It really doesn't matter, because we're not going to be using the whole needle anyway. They're like, is there a certain metal it should be made out of? Needle. Needle metal would be great. Just a needle. It's just a prop. Okay. Blue sponge? I don't care. Sure. Blue sponge. Well, I've only got a green one. Sounds good. Are you making this up as you go along? Absolutely. Just a sponge. It doesn't matter. It's just base. Okay. You can make it out of metal if you want to, but it's a little hard to push the needle through. Okay, because you're going to push the needle through the sponge. You can do it to wood too if you want. Still got to push the needle through it. The sponge is just easier to push the needle through. Put the sharp end up. Sharp end up. Because it's tinier. They're like, is there a purpose for that? Do you have to do bloodletting? No, it's just that it's tinier. And I'm already trying to head off the questions that your listeners might have, because after 25 years of teaching this class, I've heard all the questions. And some of them I've just sat there and gone, needle. All right. Push it through. You take tin foil. Aluminum foil is the same as tin foil. I'm old. I call it tin foil. Okay. You fold it into a few parts. Right? I don't care how many parts. Don't go like 7. It's too thick. Do like 3. It's usually heavy enough. And you cut an equal on, like a helicopter thing out of it. You're going to bend the arms a little bit. And you're going to balance the center on top of that needle so that it's 4 arms kind of balancing on top. Right? Turn off your AC. Turn off your fan. Don't get so close to it that you're breathing on it, because the little goddamn thing's going to spin. Don't push the needle through. Balance it. Put your hand near it. And focus on it moving. That means you have to focus. And everybody goes, oh, that's easy. And I'm like, but there's a technique to it. Every breath in, you visualize the energy coming in from your feet that are firmly planted on the ground. Don't do this sitting on your legs. Put your feet on the ground. Sit at a table. Sit properly. Sit upwards. Okay. Every breath in brings the energy through your feet, through the middle of your body, and out through the hand that you're using. And it moves. Okay. Now I want you to stop it. Don't take away your hand. It doesn't count. Don't put your finger on it. That doesn't count. Breathe in and visualize your energy coming back into your hand. Back down your body into the earth again. and watch it stop. Don't move your hand. Breath in. Visualize it going the other direction now. Do the same thing now. You don't have to sit and stop it and go. You can breathe pretty easily. And out. Don't breathe on it. Out. Learn how to take your upper lip and go downwards. Downwards. Kind of like you're playing a flute. Downwards. Like that. Yep. Like that, the damn thing falls. And you learn how to make it go in both directions. You do it with the other hand. And you do this so that you can push energy out or draw energy where you need it. See, I've gone to places where we needed to capture energy. It wasn't a demon. It's just a bad, aggressive energy. It's evil. It's not demonic. It's evil. I've pulled the energy towards me and then pushed it downwards immediately when it got to the spot I wanted it to and put it in a bottle. And in the bottle, I put the dirt from where we were at and a little bell hanging on a string across a toothpick across the top. When it went in, the bell started to ring because it got confused inside the bottle because the bottle had symbolism all around it on containment. Popped a cork on it and put some wax on it. To this day, every so often my bottle on my shelf, ding, 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 and it'll ring. And I know that the energy's still in there. And it doesn't know how to behave. It is incredibly aggressive. Was it once human? No. What, is it a demon? No. It's more like a called upon. Not less than an egregore. Greater than a groundling. Type energy. If I took it out, it's not like I could tell it to go to the light, and I can't really banish it. And people go, I've dissipated the energies. No, you haven't. There's one rule of physics that remain and always hold true. Energy never dies. It simply changes format. All you've done is change its format. You hope that in the energy format that you've taken it through the veils. Now, everybody thinks that the veils go like this from heaven to hell. They don't. Energy veils go like this. And that's why some things can cross through to us, go back that way. But remember, where there's one side, there's the other side. You stand in the middle. Energies can come up and vanish back this way. But if they were energies that were created in this realm, where the hell are they going to go? They weren't brought forth here. They weren't pulled into this veil. This is their veil. You may be able to banish them out for a second. They're going to find their way back home. It's like a spiritual umbilical cord. Draws them right back in. And that's where spirit bottles come in place. Then again, you have to recognize the energies and the difference in the energies. And I'm telling you, nothing irritates me more than to watch the TV programs where everybody runs around going, it's a demon, 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 demon. How is it every episode you can find a demon?
Exactly.
I try to find them, and I found maybe 5 in my whole life. And you're finding one every night or every week. How is that possible? I mean, this is not like Ghostbusters where doors were open and things are coming through. Somebody has to pull it through. It has to be pulled through to this veil. Demons cannot just say, I'm just going to walk right through all the veils, baby, and come into this one. That's not how it works. Things to get through have to change a format. It would be like, you can come to my house and knock on my door. All you want. You ain't coming through my door if I don't open it. But then again, you almost have to have an invite to get to my house because you have to know where it's at, right? I have to give you some kind of address. The same happens when you deal with a demon and you meet a demon. You have to realize they're not just running willy-nilly through, true demons are not running willy-nilly through this veil. Somebody handed them an address. They came up and went, and somebody opened that door and then didn't ask them to leave. They're a crasher, a squatter in our veil. Then there are those that were created in our veil. Then there's ones on the other side that are just angry people. Angry, evil people that lived at some point in this veil, so they understand it. Now they've moved on from this veil. Those are spirits. They can come back and forth. Why? Because they knew the address. You see, higher realms. They know this for the most part. They know this address because they've been here. Probably not in these realms over here. These are more like angelics. They don't come to this realm unless you give them an invite and you bring them in. Right? But those on this side, the lesser energies or the more aggressive energies, the Petra versus the Rada, the light versus the dark, the ones that are on this side, right? There may be a few that were aggressive and evil in life that can come back, but they're on this side because they once lived. Then there's those that never had a form. And the further you go this way, the darker and more aggressive they become. But they have to have an address to get in. You have somebody had to invite them in. Normally when you run across a demon, they go, I don't know. Yeah, you do. Who was playing with what? Who thought something was cute? Because whoever invited him in, you can move from house to house to house. They're going to stay. Because they're staying near their door. It's not like, they can jump on a person and follow them. Like there was another movie. I can't remember the name of it for some reason. Denzel Washington, and he's a cop.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Right. And as people pass, it jumps. But it still has to have an address. You're the address. You're the address. Your energy is what follows that runs in this realm. So you're the address. Is it as stunningly contagious as in that movie? No. It's not like it can change people as it goes. But I mean, I've seen people carry them that didn't call them, but they were attached to the person who did call them. Okay. It's not like I walked down the sidewalk and something went on the side of my face and I went, oh, what the hell was that? Right? I would have to have been, say, my kid decides to do something incredibly stupid, which he wouldn't, because he understands things, but say he did, right? And he walked past me. And I went, what the hell is that? And I went, oh, that's awesome. All right. Now I throw you out the door, back to where you came from. What the hell were you doing? And why were you doing it? You're in my house and you're my child, and our energies are, in essence, connected. So it can jump to me. If I walked past a stranger on the street and they had something on them, I'd just be like, I wonder what they got on them. But it's not like it goes, oh, you can get the message, right? And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Is what happens because I didn't open the door. And so I don't know what that was, but that had to hurt. You, not me. You. Now you can take a smidgen of the energy back with you. But that's what's called residual. It's not the actual demon. Unless, of course, they were on this side and they once lived. Because everybody knows that if you once lived, you can go anywhere you want. I can walk out of the house. I know that. See, demon may not know that. I don't know. This basement's my home now. Until my keeper takes me for a walk. But I still got to come back to the basement because that's where my door is. Whereas in a just aggressive evil spirit that once lived like a human being or something, but can go. I know where the front door is. Bye, suckers. I'm off. And there's all these energies, and the learning is an intense thing, Corey. It really is, and you are forever learning. You are forever a student of it. There's no master to it. You're forever the person that's learning. The training is intense and extensive. And you have to learn philosophies that you don't like. When I teach the philosophies, somebody goes, I don't like, a lot of students don't like Santeria. They're like, I don't learn Santeria. And I'm like, you will learn Santeria. And you'll learn Palo Mayombe, the other side of Santeria. Because it's a tree in the forest. And you're not going to walk through life skirting that tree going, everything in this land is that the light touches is ours. But we never go into the shadows. Why? When you touch the abyss touches you. When you look into the abyss looks into you. Nietzsche said that. And he was quite right about it. And then I quoted that in the class, and somebody said, so God is dead? And I said, oh, this is going to be a fun class. Never said that, kid. Never said that. He goes, so you believe in God? I said, never said that. He goes, you believe man is God? I said, never said that particularly precisely either. I think we're a format of it. I never said I was the God, maybe a God, but not the God. And I said, no more than you're a God, like a namaste style thing. My higher self recognizes your higher self. Namaste. And he goes, so God's dead. I went, Nietzsche's dead. Can't help you. I don't know how to do this conversation, so we're going to just move on. Right? And he wanted to learn demonology. And I said, I don't think you're prepared for it. I don't think you're equipped for it. You want absolutes. And there are no absolutes with energy, other than energy never dies. It simply changes format. Your energy, this is your format. This format may die, but your energy doesn't. And it can contain emotions and intellect. And now you have to sit. Your job is to decipher. You got to play Columbo. One more question, right? Got another question for you. Do you know Sumerian? Right? Is Ishtar a friend of yours? Right? You have to play like a detective and figure it out, because demons lie. So if you said, are you Christian? And it went, oh, absolutely. I am. And you went, excellent. Let me get that prayer. And it's going, yeah, you go ahead and do that. I'm just going to sharpen up my teeth. Our Father who, you aren't Christian, are you? Because that wasn't a Christian thing to do. You little nugget, you lied. And then a lot of demonologists get mad. They're like, I told them, I command thee to tell the truth. I command a lot of people to tell the truth. I have no idea if they are. How do I know if they are? I gotta just trust that. But I don't trust demons. You understand the aspect of learning this. It's got so many depths to it. And I'm not saying that you have to be a priest in every single philosophy. You should know at least the foundational understanding of every philosophy that's out there. Because you may catch something that's not inside any philosophy at all. And then what? Then where are you?
I'm on the phone calling you.
Exactly.
I'm picking up the phone and answering. Like I've done many times. It's a dedicated life work. And you have to understand the good to the bad, the dark to the light to the dark, and everything in between that. You have to understand the different types of energies. You have to understand how to energy manipulate both them and yourself. And through it all, you have to remain stoic and confident enough to let it think that you're a god, and to believe that you're a god, and yet wise and humble enough to know you bleed.
So I did some research on demons for a class that we taught, and I thought I dug pretty deep into it, but I couldn't find anything about different religions, demons, and different. Is that just because of popular culture? What's that?
I said, Lydia, didn't you hand him my book?
No, you ran out of copies before I got to buy mine.
Oh my God! Oh no!
Right?
Well, where do I buy it?
I'm reformatting it. However, I believe, and I don't know if I leave, am I still on screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm on a,
Isn't it on like Amazon or where you can download it to a Kindle? I thought it was.
yes.
I have a Kindle, I just don't ever use it anymore.
And I think you can sign up for some free things and, hold on, so if you go to Amazon and you type in Jymie Darling, Introduction to Demonology, small treatise. It is $0 if you are on Kindle Unlimited, or $10 to buy if you don't have the Kindle Unlimited. And you can also pull it up on your PC. You don't necessarily have to have a Kindle, by the way. You can pull it up on your laptop. Alongside of it is, holy cow, what is this? I Sold My Soul to Satan. That's a movie I'm in. But there's Guide to Paranormal.
Great movie.
What's that?
Great movie.
Thank you. Again, we're dealing with demonology there. Also on the Kindle is the Kabbalah Treatise, How to Navigate the Tree of Life for Transmutation, Guide to Paranormal and Occult Investigations, Investigating Hauntings and Possessions. There's my treatise on tarot, my alchemy treatise. And yeah, so I mean, my books are on Amazon, and you can buy them on Kindle for $10. Or if you're part of Kindle Unlimited, there's $0. You download my book. I just simply get a portion of the Kindle Unlimited costs. And you have to pay for it by month, or you can pay for it by year for the unlimited access. Or you can just buy my books outright. Then, believe it or not, every month I get a deposit into my bank accounts of people who are buying my books still. And I'm always flattered. I'm always quite humbled that people buy what I write. Because
Jim,
I have babbled for an hour and 24 minutes, and I'm surprised you haven't shut my mic off.
we have one question. Leanne says if she doesn't have an e-reader, she wants to know if they're in print.
I am reprinting them because I am in the midst of doing a version 2 and expanding them out of a treatise and into an actual book.
Okay.
I believe I have the master copy still. I found a master copy. So with that said, I can run my butt down to FedEx and Xerox another copy off of my master. If somebody wanted it, they're $10. I can run over to FedEx and right out of the thing. Oh, I see that. Look at that. There's a whole chat room. I think I was in private chat. I'm not very good at technology, but I'm incredible at paranormal.
Yeah, there's a little comments
I
thing
see
on the
that.
side.
Tracy gave you a shout out, Tracy Vega.
Hi, Tracy. Oh, thank you for buying them in print from me. Listen, you totally, if you guys are near each other, you totally have my permission to get together, photocopy it, staple it together if it's easier. You can send me the $10 if you feel guilty about taking a photocopy of my book. If you want me to sign it and send you a copy off of my master, it's $10. I'll gladly do it. I don't care. I'm one of these people that, listen, I started classes up again and I teach, and that's why I have a whole setup and I have a whole professional mic setup and I'm teaching again and I've got them on YouTube, all my classes that I've taught so far. And my theory is donate me $10 per class. If you can't afford the $10, don't worry about it. Take the class anyway. I'm not about money. I'm about knowledge. I don't mind having my time paid for. But it's not something that, you must pay me $50 or you cannot have the link to the class. You cannot have my book if you don't have the $10. I don't care. I really don't. How do you sign up for a class? I'm on Facebook under Jymie Lynn Darling.
I'll invite all of them to the class group.
Yeah, you can invite everybody through the class. Lydia knows the class thing. I also have, I think that it's by invite only on the YouTube, because I got stalkers out there and I try very hard to keep away from the stalkers, because every time I do something on YouTube, they write this, they share this thing about a blog that was written about me being a fake veteran, which I'm not. And if I am, the VA is very mistaken about things because I get a monthly check. But I also have like all my military IDs and I'm on there, but people get very upset with me. And so they write these things and I'm like, I don't know why you're writing these things. It's kind of not nice. So I keep a lot of my stuff unlisted because of it. But say you wanted to learn. Hold on. Again, I'm not very sobby.
Welcome to the tarot class.
Right? And Jesus Christ, I'm playing the damn thing. How do I? Is there any way that Lydia? How do I talk in the chat room?
I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, I think you have to you actually have to click on YouTube and type there for you guys.
Oh.
Say
You
what?
have the ultimate power to type in there.
Okay.
Let's see. I think I found it's Master Occultist Jymie Darling Presents Ancient Religions. It's a private group.
Right. So if I go over here,
Let me invite me in.
What if I do this? Oh, jeez, Louise, I don't know what the hell I just did. That wasn't right. What? Okay, I'm going to go to the groups. Oh, there it is. Master Occultist Jymie Darling. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do something that I normally don't do because, again, I'm...
How about, I have an idea, Jymie. I have it saved now. Why don't anybody watching this, if you reach out to me and you're friends with me, I can add you to the group.
There you go. Yeah, because it says I can't change the privacy of it.
Okay.
But inside that group has the videos. If you go to previous events that were held, has the videos of the classes listed in there. If you want to jump into a live class, you just look at what's coming up in the events. A lot of things have been rescheduled because I was actually building a media room to be a little more professional looking. I've got it built now. So we're going back onto schedule next week where we're going to be talking about astrology and in all the theologies, the multi-theology astrology class. And then we'll be doing a Cooking with Alchemy course. I will be coming back around to doing, I think I was asked for a paranormal.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Uh-oh.
She cut out.
She cut out.
Or she's messing with us.
She's frozen. Oh.
Hang on. Let me message her. I love that face she's making in it.
I know.
Mhm.
Kind of like it would have been great when I, that's weird. When I fell back in the chair, had we frozen that frame? I sent her a quick message.
I'm taking a picture of her with that face.
Right? Oh, she went away.
All right.
Oh, yeah, she's gone.
She'll be back, probably.
Technical difficulties, guys.
I've enjoyed the discussion so far.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's so knowledgeable. The only thing, I do have one question I want to ask her when
Yes.
she comes back.
I was as soon as I was getting ready to answer any question, she was like, she
Right
answered
on.
it like before I even could ask her.
She's so knowledgeable. Anybody watching this, I mean, just she's
Yes.
so knowledgeable. She's taught us a lot, and it's kind of like Tracy said.
Mhm.
If something that I haven't encountered anything like that, I've encountered angry energies. If I came across something
Hey!
on that line, she would be on my speed dial, and she's back.
Back.
If you needed to take a break, you could have said something.
Right? It actually said that I had been interrupted.
Oh.
I went off air.
Oh.
And then it said I had no internet connection, but I have 5G in my house. And I'm like, so I tested other things to the on the web, and I'm coming up on everything. So I closed this off of the browser, went back into Facebook, grabbed that link, and came back to the studio.
Dope. Welcome back.
Sweet, welcome
Thank you.
back. By the way, we may or may not have taken screenshots of your face when you froze.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But there's what I was saying was inside the thing. If you go to the events, we have demonology. I'll be doing more events for classes that are coming up. Inside the past events are the links to the YouTube. So I see that a lot of you figured out how to get on that chat room. I haven't figured it out. But let's not try that because I've already frozen once.
I had to go from my cell phone.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think if you go to YouTube, the actual YouTube link, you can watch it. You can comment there as well.
Gotcha. Anyway, you can find the links to the YouTube videos there. I've got some of the classes up there. I'm going to be redoing all the classes once again so you can catch a live version of it. mainly because when I was doing it, I was still playing around with sound and picture and setup. And there's some of them where, like, I'm up in the camera like this and I'm talking to you and I'm like, hey, right? And then everybody's like,
Blair Witch style.
Blair Witch style, right?
Yeah.
So I did, right? And then I added the projector so I could put things on the wall. Then I figured out how to share the screen in Zoom so that I could actually put the handouts out there. And so now that I have figured everything out, right? Because I so feel like my mother now. How do you do this? Right? Crazy gangled damn electronics and gizmos, right? But now that I have figured everything out, I'm actually going to redo the classes so that they're done in a better sound style, because there were people that were saying I was bouncing in and out of sound, and there were times that they couldn't hear me. And so I'm going to redo the classes once again in a better fashion. But the classes are up there. They're also under the, inside the group, they're under the video section. Also, I've pushed them into the video section because I was like, oh, look, there's a video section. I didn't know that. Right? Stupid Facebook making me look old. Hey, like, in MySpace. And everybody's like, shut up, Grandma. And I'm like, okay. There's this wonderful thing. And again, there isn't a lot of stuff out there in books. What it is that they've made demonology, Corey, very taboo to talk about.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. It's very it's either very taboo, and when people act like it's taboo, it's because they don't know enough to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Or they act like you have to be a certain level to understand this.
Yeah.
Really, it's not about being a certain level. Look, if you can't find any information about it, how the hell are you going to learn about it? If you can only find the light and you can't find any information on the dark, what good does this do you? I put out the book, and I'm outspoken, and thus I've got the blogs written about me that have been photoshopped, and the thing is that they're using profiles that I don't own, and they're saying she profiled us this, and I'm like, what fucking profile is that? Well, look, it's got my name on it. And I'm like, so then I go, and I text my son, can somebody use my name on the thing without proving who they are? And he goes, yes, mother, you just have to type in some name. I'm like, well, that's some pulled bull donkey right there. I'll tell you what. How am I supposed to tell them that's not me? And he goes, you really can't, Mom. They're ghosting you. And I said, no, I mean, and it's one person, and if you look at all the blogs that were written about me, they're written in the exact same wording. Oh. Over and over and over and over again. So it's just one person going to multiple sites to make it look like everybody knows. And it's like, okay, you're a nugget. I don't care. Right? Yeah. So I don't think anything should be taboo. I don't think anything should be hidden. And I'll tell you and I'm going to tell you a story again. And it's indicative to why there's no books out there on this. Okay? I was teaching a Kabbalah class in my store before I retired from my store. I retired early. Don't get any ideas how old I am. Mm-hmm. I retired early.
I'll be right back. Keep going.
I had a very well-known author come into my store, and he wrote quite a few books on Kabbalah. And somebody in my class asked him, so is it Yod or Yod? Well, it's Yod when you're speaking, it's Yod when you're vibrating it for ritual. And he said, it doesn't matter how you say it. Well, that's not true. it matters a lot how you say it. You have to, vibrations create and destroy. And you want to say it correctly. And he said, it doesn't matter. And he went into a thing of, you can call me Ray, you can call me Jay, you can call me Yod, you can call me Yod, you can call me Yay. And I just looked at him, he goes, doesn't matter how you say it, babes. So I called a break immediately. Break time in class, break time. And the class went out for break, and he came in the back with me, and I said, what in the hell was that? You and I both know for a fact how you say it means something. And he goes, why in the world would you teach these peasants how to do it correctly? Why would you give them all the information? If you give them all the information, they no longer need you.
That's pretty selfish.
And he goes, and if they no longer need you, you have to figure out how to get your money then, because you can't keep them supporting you. And I said, I don't want them to support me, babe. I make my way in this life. I'll teach a class. There's always somebody who wants to know something new. But my theory is if I'm up this far and I teach you and I elevate you to here, you and I can then move up together and we can learn new things. I can learn off you. You can learn off me. I can learn off you. You can learn off me. And then we bring more people up, right?
Yeah.
Now there's more people doing this. The greater the knowledge, the better it is. The more we can learn. The further we can go. The greater the understanding. But if I stay up here and I try to keep everybody down here, nothing gets any further. I'm so busy trying to keep you here that I don't grow.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Really good
If
point.
I bring you here, every single person brings something to the table that's unique. And you can learn from it. I've learned from Lydia. Corey, I learned from you the last time I was in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
That's cool.
certain type of energy that you have. There's also a certain way that you listen to things.
Oh,
And it was a
thank
unique
you.
thing to do. And I study people, and I learned off you. I've learned off all of you. I've learned off everybody. My goal is to get you up where I am. And then together, we can go further into the frontiers. Right?
So there is something I learned from you, Jymie.
Diamond nugget.
Your nugget. No,
No.
it was a few years ago. We got called by a gentleman. He was 110%, 150% sure his son was possessed. His son was doing this. He was going into fits of rage. He was acting this way. And I remember, I think it was the first time I heard you talk, you made an impression on me. I remembered everything you said. And first thing that popped in my head, is he using drugs? To me, he sounded like someone who was on drugs. Dad's like, oh, no, no, no. I mean, occasionally smokes a little pot. No, 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 he's not on any drugs. I'm like, are you sure? Would he be willing to go get drug tested to show me he's not on drugs? Because if you're saying he's possessed, we go in thinking he is, we can make things 10 times worse. 100 times worse.
Right.
So Dad says, well, I'm like, okay, we'll meet with Dad. We won't let him know, you know. So we finally went over there. We met with the dad, talked to him. I'm like, still think he's on drugs. I think there's something that you're not telling me. I'm like, I want to meet your son. Well, if he knows I'm bringing you over, he's possessed, he's going to do this and this and this. I'm like, I don't care. I need to meet him. Tell him you're a random chick you met on the thing and you wanted to bring her home for a drink or something, you know. I'll even come in and I'm not supposed to drink. I'll have a beer with you if you drink, you know. You invited me over for coffee, something. So we went over to his house, met the son instantly. He's not possessed. He's on drugs.
You know, inside demonology, don't jump immediately to it's a demon. Rule out everything until you can't rule out anything else but demon.
Yeah.
I've had people who had lead poisoning from the paint that they were in. I've had people who had early onset schizophrenia.
We've had that too.
Drugs, alcohol, PTSD. And you've got to rule out everything this way until you can't rule out anything anymore. Your last stop, the last stop on this bus ride should be demon. You should see every single bus stop there before. You're right, Tracy, absolutely. If there's psychological issues, you got to know if there's abuse in the background. You've got to know if there was child molestation. You have to know everything, and you got to remember, people will say no.
I'll be right back.
They don't want to admit that it could be something that has to do with that. I'm not crazy. I have demons. It's not my drug use. It's demons. Could it be lead paint poisoning? I would know if I had lead paint poisoning. I know if I had lead poisoning. I'd know it. You think I'm crazy. It's demons. Because it's so much easier to say that it's outside than it's inside. People don't want to be told that it's inside. Who want to be told it's outside. It's easier to deal with when it's outside. And don't think that I haven't played that part either, by the way, where I have gone in and I know it's a psychological issue. And I do the exorcism. In that case, I just do the Christian one, Our Father who art in heaven, demon be gone. In the name of Jesus, I cast thee out. And then I tell them, you need to see a therapist because it's integral now that you've had this possession, that you go see a therapist so that you can recover from the PTSD of the possession. They weren't possessed. But until I got that block out of the road, they wouldn't go help themselves. Sometimes you have to lie. It's not nice. Sometimes it's for the betterment of the person you do.
Yep.
I've
done that before too. It's
right, or
all because of this.
Done this, all right, and you've been exorcised of the demon. Now you need to go to rehab, because the demon had you on drugs. So now you need to go to rehab to get off those drugs. Since we got rid of the demon, you're okay. You can go ahead and go to rehab. It'll work. And they'll go to rehab and they'll get off the drugs and they'll sit and say, that was the worst moment of my life of the possession that had me on those drugs. Look, whatever it is that takes to get them to the right help, a demonologist is responsible for. You can't just say, now you've been exorcised and so therefore, mind over matter, they're okay. No, I'll do the exorcism because I can't convince you otherwise. I can't physically convince you that it's not. You are 100% into this. Complete conviction of it. That's okay. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to relieve your worry. And then I'm going to tell you what to do next. Cleanse it fully. If you continue with the drugs, the demon will come back. So you should probably go to rehab while you're not possessed. They have a certain amount of strength in their head now. Psychologically, they think that they can beat this. Recovery for people. From what I understand, because I worked with recovery people, I don't understand addiction at all. I really don't. But I understand that people can be addicted. So I send them over there, and they will tell me that recovery is 90% of it is mental. And if I can get them 90% down over there, the last 10% is an easy ride on the road. And sometimes you can't just, there are sometimes you have to fully walk away. Let's be honest. And there are times that I've had people that say, no, it's not the cocaine at all. It's not the meth either. And I'm like, sure it isn't. But it's a demon, I'm telling you, and it keeps coming back. And I'm like, because you keep putting it in your nose. I can't help you. I'll tell you what, when you're ready to help yourself and you're ready to say, I'm ready to shake the demon. And honestly, I believe that addiction is a format of a demon problem. They'll tell you you have a demon on your back. They'll tell you it's your demon. It's your addiction. Your addiction is a demon. If I can't get your demon off of your back, if I can get your demon off your back, you can go. But I'll tell you what, when you're ready to fully get the demon off your back, you come back and see me. I'll do the exorcism and I'll drive you right to rehab. Hey, the car ride's on me. I'll take you. And if you don't want to, I can't help you. If you don't want to go see a psychiatrist, if you don't, and I always tell people, oh, okay, you know what? This is, I need to rule out some things if you don't mind. And they're like, okay, I need you to do a drug test. You go to your doctor and ask him for a lead poisoning test and a mercury poisoning test. You'd be surprised how many people get that. And I need to see and I want you to sit down with a therapist friend of mine and just talk through some things. Then you can come back to me with everything. Because if I've ruled out everything, now I can just, now if it comes back and it's lead poisoning and they see it on the piece of paper, they're like, holy shit, I almost died. And I'm like, yes, but you got help.
Yeah.
Right? Or your drug test came back so positive it wasn't even funny. Fine. Let's do the exorcism because in your weakened state on drugs, you probably got a demon in you. I'll do the exorcism, then we're going to go ahead and get in my car. And I'm going to drive you to the local rehab. And there's been a few people where they've said, I can't afford the rehab. And I've reached into my pocket and grabbed my credit card and threw it down and said, I'll help you. I'll pay your rehab. If you'll go, I'll pay your rehab. And they're like, really? I'm like, you commit to it, I'll pay the fee. I mean, you're not going to go to like Malibu Beach. You're going to go to the one down the street. You're not going to go to the $1,000 one day, right? You're going to go to the $1,000 a month one instead of the $10,000 a day one because I don't have that kind of money. But I'm going to make sure that you spend at least 30 days in it, and so that you can get yourself right. And they come back and they go, the demon never came back. You know that? I'm like, okay, it didn't. And they're like, no, my life is so much better now, and I've got this great job. And there are some people that have gone on to be directors that have owned production companies. There are people who have turned out to be actresses. And it just, I got a demon, and I'm like, you've got a drug problem, sweetheart. Let me help you. I'm going to help you through that. And I do. But we can't constantly jump to demonology. And if you take somebody who's got lead poisoning and you make them believe that they're okay with an exorcism, you have technically helped in their murder.
It's a good way to look at it. It's true.
Because you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and you are supposed to do. Look, they come to you like a priest. They come to you like a spiritual doctor. You can't be running around doing malpractice.
It's a very good way to put it.
So you owe a certain amount of responsibility to the people who run to you. If it's inside of them, most of the time, people that are possessed, demons stay on the outside. Why? And you have to ask yourself this. Why would they want to go into a format like yours? The running joke has always been, I see a demon and a demon jumps into my body and goes, what's wrong with the back?
Yeah.
What happened to the knee? Why are we so tired? Oh my God, what's wrong with this? Let me out.
No refunds.
And I'm just like, and I look at the demon and go, welcome to my body. I know, right? The back gets worse. And the demon goes, this is hell. Get me out of there. Right? Why would it want to go in your body? Why am I so tired? What do you mean I can't run? Why are we out of breath? We only walked a half a block. What is wrong with you? Why does the shoulder? That? The hell's wrong with your shoulder? Why does my head hurt so bad? What is wrong with you? This one's bad. This is a bad one. Listen, you got enough problems. I'm just going to leave you alone.
So stay out of shape and you won't get possessed by a demon.
Yes.
I'm doing a pretty good job at not being possessed by a demon.
If you think about it, with all legitimacy,
Same here.
right? Right? Why would something that has this energy and this power to do things want to get into a format that's incredibly limited?
Yeah, and demons always have like a plan, from what I understand.
Right. There's always a plan. There's always a plan. If you've offered your body up, I'm sweating. If you've offered your body up, right, and it goes in there, do you really think it's going to stay in there? Again, it jumps out. I say, come into this format. It says, well, I need some kind of vessel so that I can get acclimated to your veil, and it jumps inside me. And then I need to get acclimated pretty fast because, oh my God, what the hell's that pain? Where's that pain coming from? Ow! Why did you call me here? It hurts, right? It's going to acclimate and get out as fast as possible. Why wouldn't it? You're limited. You have to eat. You have to sleep. It's inconvenient times that you have to pee. It's like, and I'm going to take over. Hold on just a moment. I have to tinkle. Right? And the bathroom. And comes back and goes, wait, where were all of my victims? Where are all my victims? Damn this spot. Wait, I have to tinkle again. What is wrong with this person? What do you mean it's nap time? It's 2:00 in the afternoon. We're going to do what? Wait, you, human, wake up. Right? But it's got a plan, and its plan is to get out and do something else. Right? It's certainly certainly doesn't want to stay in your format. You tinkle too much. It's like, why are we always in the toilet? Oh, that is a demon that died. What came out of you? Ow! There's more than one in here. No, I'm sorry. That's number 2. I just have to go number 2. Right? It's inconvenient. Why are we on the toilet for the next half hour? Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Let's read Facebook. Right? I had plans to take over the world. Well, I had chili last night, so no. It's okay. Lydia's going to die in a second. Right? But if you think about it, right, it's very unlikely that it's going to stay in your format for very long. Right? You're an incredibly inconvenient vessel. It really is. It's like asking me to get in a dress. It's very inconvenient to me to be dressed in high heels. I'm going to be walking around like, my heel. I think I just twisted my ankle. Why am I in a dress and heels again? Who walks in these things? Who walks in these things? Right? Why? Why would you put your heel in your foot in this? Right? It's very inconvenient, and I can't wait to get out of the heels. So, your pair of stilettos, the payment really doesn't want to be in there. It's like, this is very inconvenient. We're not moving very fast. And what do you mean we can't go through walls? What do you mean? That caused pain too. What if we're bleeding? What is wrong with this thing? I got a defective one. But they're all defective. So they're not going to want to stay in that. They're not going to want that. It's not a vessel they want. It's not something they're going to do. Let's be honest. Okay? 99% of the demons that you are going to encounter are going to be on the outside of a human being. 1% is going to be on the inside. And it's not that they've chosen that specimen because they're perfect. They've chosen that specimen because they don't know how to get out. That's it. Trust me. They want out. They're in there going, oh, look, here comes an exorcist. Help! Help! I'm stuck inside this human. And it's bad. It's doing things all day long that's not right. And it hurts. And I'm in pain. And hold on, we got a tinkle. And I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm hungry. I don't even know what hunger is. But oh my God, we have to stop every so often and juice this. Right? It's sitting there, and it looks at you and goes, "Oh, thank God." I don't even care if you banish me back to my own veil, because at this point, this person, this has been hell. This is hell. I am a demon and I'm unhappy. This is painful. It really is that kind of format, and if you think about it, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Why, when it could take any format that it wanted, it could compress its energy into a format and then disperse its energy out of the format and move on. Why in the world would it want you? Your mind is feeble. Your body is feeble. Why would it want you? Unless it has a plan to use your body to pick up a gun. It doesn't need you. And it doesn't want you. You're only as good as the call to bring it in. That's it. That's it. That's as good as you're for. You are nothing more than a glorified valet. That's it.
I have a question.
I'm
sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No.
Okay. A lot of people know about demons and stuff is off of popular culture.
Yes.
So they always say that you have power over a demon if you know its name. Is there any fact to that?
Corey, I have power over you. I know your name.
Okay. So I gotta go, babe. No. Okay. Because that's just always such a thing they focus on.
Tracy, I own you. I know your name.
Okay.
Do you know what the power is that you have because you know their name?
No.
Because you know what theology they belong to.
Oh.
That's the only power you hold, by knowing their name.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. By sitting there, by sitting there and going, Corey, 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 it doesn't matter. It means nothing. But if I know your address, because I know Corey, right, and I find you, well then, now I've got a certain amount of power because I know how to research you. I know how to go about and find things out. The only power you have by knowing its name is the power that you hold for research.
Okay.
By sitting there and going, I know Lydia's name. Lydia! Be gone! Lydia! 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 Right? Now, if I'm not on film and I'm doing that in the middle of my bedroom, when Lydia's just like, Dachshunds and da-da-da. Right? And I'm going, why in the hell isn't she appearing? I know her name. Right? But I can research her on Facebook and then I can get a hold of her. I can get her number. Or I can figure out where she's at. I can find her. That is, no, I am Tracy, don't tell her.
Fred.
Fred, secret house.
Oh, I love you guys.
Private chat. The only power that you own with knowing the name is the power that you have now to research. Sitting there going, Beelzebub doesn't hold any power to me. Let's be honest. Most demons are already written down by name. What difference does it make? Right? It doesn't make any difference. And Beelzebub jumps up and I'm like, I know you, you're Beelzebub. I know, because I am. My only power at that moment is literally the ability to go and research it and research about him. Because then I can find out how to banish him.
Okay.
Controlling a name doesn't mean anything. It's like, I posted something on Facebook recently that said, if you tell, if a spirit knows your name, then it owns you. If a spirit asks your name and you give it to them, they own you. And somebody said, so if I give them my coat, the spirit says, can I have your coat? May I take your coat? And you go, here you go. And he goes, thank you. And it puts it on. You're like, no, I thought you were just going to hang it up. What the hell are you doing? Right? It's as silly as that conversation is. They may know your name, right? The spirit knowing my name doesn't do any good to it. Unless it knows how to punish me. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
I always wondered why that would be a thing. Like, if you know their name, why does that?
It's a sense of false power. And once again, people telling you that I have the information up here. They're keeping you down here by telling you half the information.
Okay.
Because telling you to go up here makes them they believe makes them obsolete. I believe that we move as a society or as a whole. That, and I'm too tired and I'm too old to be somebody's guru. I'm too tired and I'm too old to be the next Jim Jones. I'm too tired and I just don't have it in me. I don't want to be followed. I don't want to be adored. I don't want to be worshipped. I want you to take the knowledge you need. Then stand beside me and let's go forward. And so, yes, it is. It's their weaknesses that they're looking for, Tracy. So I once went into an investigation, and it was one of the 5. And everything was going swimmingly well. I was a god. Until the person's kitten walked into the room. And it saw my weakness was to protect that animal.
Aww.
And it exploited it. Instead of directing its energy towards me, it started to direct it towards the kitten. Which means I had to direct my energy towards the kitten. To which it pulled its energy back and went at me. And I was way too preoccupied with saving this kitten. And it just about killed me. I think it took me a year year and a half to recover from the exorcism. Granted, I got back up on my feet, put myself back like that. The kid went back and focused on it. The kitten walked in, and my greatest weakness was shown. Animals. And it knew it had me right there. And it just threw every energy at me, and I took every blow it had so that it wouldn't direct it towards the cat. And instead of blocking, instead of continuing on with the prayer to banish it, I stopped. And I looked at the kitten, and I took it, and then the minute it had that opening, that little chink in my armor, it hit me with everything it had.
Damn.
And physically, it took me a year and a half to recover. I could barely stay awake. I was sick all the time. I got rotted sores all over my body. It took me to the brink of madness with my skin, with the skin ailments.
How did you end up getting rid of it and getting over that?
I got my wits about me. Removed the cat. I could put the cat in a circle with me. Got my wits back. Hit it with everything I had left in me. And then I just simply had to wait for recovery. Waited for my body to just build back up. Hope for the best. It was early on, and I learned from then on to not just clear the room I was working in, but to clear the entire house, to make sure that children and animals were completely cleared out. Doors and windows were shut, so nothing could wander in. Because I guarantee you that it went through the grapevine. You ever come across this nugget of joy on that side? Make sure you draw in a small animal. You can throw her right off her game. So now I make sure 100% that I never have anything that can throw me off my game. I ask people to wait outside. I order people away from me. I shut off emotion. Even if I'm scared for you and I love you to death, I won't act like you matter to me. So that I can just focus. And that way, if it thinks that you don't bother me or that doesn't bother me, then it stops. Won't waste energy on something that's not working for it.
That makes sense.
You have to be almost sociopathic at that moment. You can't have anything matter to you. You can't love anything. You can't care for anything. You have to be single focused. Even if something you love and you care for is in the line of danger, it doesn't matter. You're no good if you can't help them. You just have to turn off everything and hope for the best. Get the energy focused back towards you doing what you're doing. Make it go back on the defensive. See, I let it go on the offensive. It put me on the defensive. I know, I'm blocking everything. Going, kitten. Right? I had to turn it back to putting it back on the defensive. You got to keep it off its balance. Once it's got you off your balance, it's not a good place to
be in.
Yeah. You don't want to play that position. It's teaches you a hard lesson, and you hope you recover from it. Which is why, again, people don't write the books, because they go, oh, that's so over dramatic sounding. Or, hey, let them learn it themselves. Yeah, well, how about I've already been there, so come on up here.
Yeah.
Join me up here. You know.
Yeah.
So,
I know, knowing me, there's if I ever came across something like that, you'd be the first person I would call because I know in my heart I won't be able to help the person. You know, same with Corey. That thing sitting. Sorry, I'm referring to you as a thing, Nicole.
This
That
thing is
right next
amazing.
to him would be the first thing that it would go for because of his love for her. I've never seen that with a person before. So
exactly. So the best
you want
idea would be to separate it off.
Yeah, I don't know if I could.
Then you remove it from the vicinity. And I don't mean that you're an it. I'm saying whatever it might be, whomever it might be, whatever it might be. Have somebody remove it from the vicinity.
Situation.
Yeah. So you're welcome, Fred. I'm not really great. I'm just Jymie. I'm just Jymie. Not that great of a teacher. I'm just Jymie. There's been some greats that I have encountered, and I'm nowhere near them. I'm just knowledgeable.
That's one thing I appreciate about you is
that what you appreciate about me, Corey?
Well, that you're, because everybody was so stoked and hyped that you were coming up, and I was like, all right, you know, I bet she's gonna be so full of herself, and she's the best thing that's ever happened to mankind. And I wasn't like judging you. I was just like, who am I about to expect? And you were just you, and you weren't better than. You know, I messed up. I kept referring to things in a weird slang, and you were like, stop doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. But you weren't like, I know more than you. You're just like, hey, here's a tip. And I'm like, damn, okay.
Rather than say this.
Yeah.
Rather than say do it that way, it'd be better. It's easier and more logical if you do it this way. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know, I can see the concept behind why you do it. Let me explain to why it's kind of the long way around.
Yeah.
Right? The direct way is better.
Yeah. And you were so.
Not that it's my way, it's better. It's just direct way is better.
You were just so humble and not an expert. You know what I mean? You're an expert, but you didn't walk up like, hi, I'm Jymie. I'm a demonologist expert. I have a book. I'm an amazing. I rule the world. I didn't even know you had a book. So if I would have known, I definitely would have bought it a long time ago.
That's my bad, guys. That's going to be a new rule when people come aboard our team. You have to buy this book before you can join our team, and you have to read this book.
Have one for the team.
Wait, I don't even own the book. I got this book.
Yeah, Lydia.
Yeah, right? I know.
I can have it find out.
Dang, Lydia.
Save some money. Right?
Well, I'm definitely going to hit you up about buying.
People that I walk in and people
books.
Expect me to come in and have an air about me. They think that I'm. You know, there are people that come in and they're disappointed that I don't have that air, and there are people that are ready to fight me because they think I'm going to have that air. And I come in and I'll be talking in a group, and they won't know who I am. And I'm just talking amongst them. And pretty soon somebody will say, hey, your turn up there. I'm like, oh, I'll continue this in a moment. Give me a second. Hey, I just got to go do this thing. It's a thing. And I'll be right back. Right? And they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Jymie Darling. I'm the speaker. I'm the next speaker. And they're like, what? I'm a person. I'm just a person. And listen, I don't claim to know it all. I'm still a student. I'm still learning. Okay? I'm just a couple of classes ahead of you is all. That's all. That is all I am.
I like that.
Right? I didn't write everything that there is about it. I didn't create this knowledge. I simply studied it, know it, and I regurgitate it back. That's it. That's all it is. I'm not making groundbreaking discoveries. I'm not curing cancer here. I'm reading a book and I'm regurgitating the knowledge, perhaps in a better way, perhaps in a more compact way, perhaps in a more compiled way. But that's it. That's it. I'm nothing more than a nicely trained parrot. That's all.
You know, one of the best ways for me to describe Jymie when I try to explain you to people is a couple years ago, the last company I worked for took a few of the people that earned it to Disneyland in California. I didn't even reach out to Jymie and say, I'm coming, Jymie. Do you want to hang out? I didn't think about it. I was so excited just to go to Disneyland and not to pay for anything. And
Right.
She saw me post on Facebook. Blew up my phone. Hey, I'm not free right now. Can I meet you at this time for dinner at the Rainforest Cafe? We met for dinner. She hung out with us all night the next night. She's like, well, I got some stuff tomorrow. Let me move things around. And she spent the whole next day with me at Disneyland. She didn't have to do that, but she did. And that meant the world to me. And that's how I describe you to people. You're just so great and genuine.
Yeah.
Most other people I know wouldn't even take the time out to do that.
But you're my friend. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
friends do.
And at that time, I didn't know, I'm just like, wow. And that was
Normal people do that.
Hanging out with Jymie at Disneyland. I mean, and watching you go, you've got so much energy. You wore me out. Me and Elaine went back to the hotel and we're like, okay, we got to do this again tomorrow. Let's get some sleep.
You gotta need it.
But it was so much fun and I truly enjoyed it. And yeah, like Anne said, she talks to you, not at you. Exactly. There's so many great things about you.
Talking at somebody doesn't teach them anything. They shut down and they shut off. Plus, it's a superiority thing, and I'm not superior to anybody. I talk to people because, after all, we're all people. I'm not greater than anybody else, and I need to talk to you. I want to talk to you, and I want to listen to you. I want to hear what you're saying. I want to know you. I want to help you. I want to give you the benefit of my experience, but not in a way of my experience. It's the greatest experience of all time. Okay? And if you listen to me, you will be the greatest demonologist like I, but you won't be as great as I am because there is only one me. I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, I'm pretty sure my wife is thankful there's only one me because, I don't think there's a day that goes by that she doesn't yell nugget at me. So I'm pretty sure she's happy there's not two of me running in this world because it would be chaos. And be too high and I'm a handful. But the other thing is that I'm not great. I'm just me. We are only as great as the amount of knowledge that we have at our fingertips. We are only as great as what we know. And there's absolutely no way to know everything, so there's absolutely no way to be that great. I'm only trying to pass on more knowledge. That's it. And the thing of it is that the concept is, when I first started teaching at my store, they put me behind a big counter with a podium. And I stumbled my whole class. I completely stumbled and fumbled my entire class. I had to sound like I had no idea what I was talking about. And it wasn't that I was nervous. I felt separated from you. I felt separated from the class. They had me up on a stand. I hated being up on a stand. Why would I be on a pedestal? Why would I be above anybody? Why am I separated from anybody? So I grabbed my book and I came around the front of the podium, and I grabbed one of the chairs of the students. I sat down in front of them. So, how we doing today? Everybody ready? It's much more comfortable, right? It's more comfortable for me. If I'm too close to you, feel free to back up. I did shower today, but it's been a long day. So, it's one of those, I didn't like the separation. When I did festivals, teachers and authors wanted to be on a stage, so I had a stage set up every single time, right? But I wouldn't talk on it. I'd go in front of the stage to speak.
I bet that threw so many people off.
Why?
Well,
Why should it? It's just me. But I wouldn't stand on the stage. I'm not a rock star.
Yeah, and that's what we've been kind of taught as a society, that if someone knows more stuff about you, they are better than. And
again,
that's stupid. I don't like that.
Again, I've only taken a few more classes than you. That's all. In life, that's it. I'm just a few grades ahead of you. That's it. Pretty soon, we'll all graduate and be on the same realm there. Good night, Leanne.
Good night, Leanne. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching. Listen, if I make myself seem untouchable or unavailable, what good does that do in teaching? You won't ask me a question. You'll be afraid it sounds stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be nervous to approach me. What good does that do? I need you to ask the questions. The only stupid or bad question there is the one that doesn't come out of your mouth.
I almost didn't ask.
How do I not get you here if you won't speak to me?
I almost didn't ask about the name thing because I was like, that's kind of a stupid question, but it's so in every single movie. But I was like, you know what? It's Jymie, so I can ask her. So.
That's not true, Tracy.
Sorry.
You can learn that, Tracy. You can. It is something you can learn. It's very attainable. Well, you think I was born knowing Sumerian and ancient languages? Heck no.
Yes.
Heck no. I learned it online. Well, actually, I learned it in a book I picked up. It's actually not a book that's in it's funny. There's really no book for it. And that's the problem. So I didn't know it for a very long time. And then some guy that owned a big temple out here from Golden Dawn went on drugs, heavy drugs. And he had this collection that was mind-blowing of ritual items and books. Oh my God, the books he had, right? And secret items of Golden Dawn. Oh my God, so many secret items of Golden Dawn. Ritual tools I've never seen in my life because I'm not a member of Golden Dawn. And he went on drugs and he put his temple up for sale to the public. And somebody walked in my store and said, Jymie, he wants like $3,000. None of us have it. And I was like, what? And they say, so he's going to sell it by piece. I went. So I came and I said, this is ridiculous. Here's $3,000. I'll buy your entire temple. And he goes, here you go. And I called Golden Dawn up and I said, hey, I bought the House of the Rising Sun. And they said, excuse me? And I said, I bought the Golden Dawn Temple in Malibu, the House of the Rising Sun. I have all your items. I have all your robes. I have all your staffs. I have all your paintings, everything. I have your sacred rituals, things that are not supposed to be in people's hands. I haven't not looked at anything in the books. I haven't opened a book up. And they said, what did you spend? I said, $3,000. I don't care about the money. Come get your temple's items back. It shouldn't be in the public. I'm like this. So when they showed up, they said, take your choice of books that you want.
Mm.
You can't have this set because it's the ancient rituals. But all those boxes there, you can have anything you want out of them. In fact, you can have all the boxes if you want.
Wow.
Well, I'm not going to go take all the boxes. That's pretty greedy. And so I went through, and there was a book on Sanskrit, Sumerian language, hieroglyphs. There were books on it that were published for the temple, and I kept them. I said, I'll take those, and some of those, and some of those. That's what I'll take. Thank you. And I said, you're serious? And I said, mm-hmm. And the rest of the books could go to your members. And the guy goes, what did you pay for the temple? I said, $3,000. He goes, here's $4,000
Holy cow.
for you being honest. And I said, okay, well, then I'll buy the books back from you. And he goes, no, we didn't know that this temple was up for sale. Had you not done it and got there fast enough, it would have been disseminated outside of the temple workings, and it would have hurt Golden Dawn. And I said, no, the temples. And they said, you got there first, you didn't even blink. Yeah. Called us up and said, come get it. And they said, we appreciate your honesty. You can have the books.
Yeah.
I said, thank you. Thank you so much. He's like, absolutely. And I said, however, and then I want the extra $1,000. That's not fair on your temple. Put that towards whatever you need to put it towards in your temple. I donate that back to Golden Dawn. I said, I'll just recoup my $3,000. That's more than fair. Thank you. That was more than fair. Since I'm taking a box full of books at the end of the day. I got a Jewish book of life that is made in the holy city of Jerusalem that only Rabin can own. I don't know how he got it, but you have to go to Jerusalem to get the book. You have to get it from one of the higher rabbins. So I don't know how he got his hands on it, but now I own it. And I said, I want these books, the books you can't get. So it's not that I'm this like amazing ancient language person. I got lucky enough to come across all of this items. They fell into my lap, and really what I'm planning on doing is releasing those into book form also, so that it can be at other people's fingertips. I had to make sure I had to see if it was copyrighted by anybody. I'm trying to figure out who the author was, and it's just an anonymous book, and it's not copyrighted by anybody. So next year I'll be releasing it, since there's nothing legally stopping me from doing it. And it's easy format to learn from. It's got worksheets in it, the whole bit. So yeah, you can get up to me. And legitimately, it's not like I need to know how to hold a full conversation in Sumerian language. It's like I was taught ancient Latin in high school. I can't hold a conversation in Latin. I can tell you that Caesar's dead horse is in the middle of the road. I don't have to know how to hold a conversation. What I do need to know, right, is how to pronounce the words correctly and say it or write it only in the form of a banishing ritual or prayer. I only have to know that thing. I can't walk into a Jewish temple and speak Yiddish. I wouldn't know what to do, but I can write the Hebrew language. I can write. I can speak it enough for the prayers. I know the language enough. Oh, I love that there is a scientific research and development. Right up my alley of science. You don't have to be able to sit down with me and hold a conversation with me in Sumerian. I wouldn't know what you were saying anyway. I'd be like, what? Don't call my mom that. What's wrong with you? Right? Right? Don't, what? You're going to boil my cat. What? Right? I didn't know what you were saying to me. What do you mean my foot looks funny? Right? I wouldn't know what you were saying. But I know enough of the language to write it in the form of a ritual. I have the book so that I can go like this, open up the book, transcribe. Right? I know enough to do it in ritual. I could no sooner sit down and have a conversation in Hebrew, but I can certainly say the prayers of King Solomon. If you ask me to have a conversation, and I took 3 years of Latin in high school, and what I came out with is Caesar's dead horses in the middle of the road. The earth smells funny. That's it.
But that whole story again just shows who you are. If anybody else would have had that opportunity to buy a temple and have all these things, they'd call up and be like, "Hey, 70 grand."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you were just like, "Hey, just come take them." And then you gave the extra $1,000 back because that's just who you are. And I love that about you.
I'm not in that group on Facebook. Up top, it says, listen, in this times of everything that's going uncertain and everything that we have going on, I've decided to start teaching again so I can give you a little bit of something for yourselves. I ask for a lost my train of thought. I was reading that.
You do.
There is a where was I? Right. It's a measure of forgot where I was going with it. Listen, at this stage we are too intellectually and technologically feeble to detect, much less comprehend the kind of communication that's occurring amongst much more advanced species, especially paranormal. Yes and no. Yes and no. You're taking into aspect that you're talking about energies that would be far more technologically advanced than us, but you're not talking about the lower life forms or the lower energy forms of, say, demonic or demonology life forms. You're talking about energies that came from a time period that had no technology. You're talking about life forms that weren't that intellectually evolved as we are at this moment. I think a better way of putting it is that we're too narcissistic and wrapped into ourselves to understand. We fail to listen to what's being said around us, not necessarily unable to. It's unwilling to. I believe that there are a great amount of people who may be feeble-minded enough that they couldn't comprehend what was going on around them. But I also believe that no matter how many big words or great words, that sentencing that you can actually put together or construct, that if something truly wanted to communicate with you, it can dumb itself down to do so. And I know because I work somewhat inside Area 51 with the special weapons in the Air Force. I'll confirm nor deny what was in Area 51, but we did have weapons there, as we do on every other base in this country and around the world. But I don't believe that if you truly tried, right? No, we probably won't understand the magical things that are around 100 years from now. You're right. That's why we're always to remain students. Okay? And just as people 100 years ago couldn't understand superstring theory or the concept that valerian would become Valium or aspirin, right? Everything is a growth. We're only as knowledgeable and as flexible as we choose to be, and we only know as much as the information that we have at hand. And therefore, I can't go into that. Sorry. I can neither confirm nor deny that. It's just like I can neither confirm or deny the presence of nuclear weapons in this world either. Take from that what you'd like to know, but that's the standard answer that we have to give.
Noted.
Noted. Right? Standard answer. Anything else screws up my my pension, and I don't like to lose my pension. Yeah, secrecy and disinformation. The same could be said about the occult and paranormal. The secrecy and the disinformation. Again, had you, if you had, and I don't know if you have been here since the very beginning, we talked about that and why people keep people down and the process of doing it, and why I'm so outspoken and disliked within the greater intellectual communities, because I don't believe in it, other than I'm not going to lose my pension by going into government stuff. Okay. I will say this: the government has confirmed the presence of UFOs, so right, we can say that now. Still can't say what kind or where it's at, but hey, right now, even those that are 10 times as old as us, it wouldn't be incomprehensible to us. Energy holds intellect. And intellect is continually growing. And it took us forever to figure out that energy holds intellect. We just thought that energy, and emotion. We just thought energy just held energy. But it's coming around that. Anyway, the idea of going back to the temples and understanding that. Yeah, you're going out of my realm. You're going out of my realm. That's a whole other show. I'm not going to. I'm not going to comment on that. Only because it's out of my realm. It's not what I was brought on here to talk about. It's already 6:00 my time. I've already been on for 2 hours and 42 minutes. And I'm not going to start a whole brand new conversation of civilizations that are elsewhere. We're talking about what we know about the civilizations here in the Babylonians, the Sumerians. I already talked about how they talk about an older civilization that we have no idea about. But the idea is, here's demonology and the idea of, and the concept of understanding where it comes from. And as much as I appreciate your intellect of wanting to discuss it, the hijacking of the subject is rude to my interviewers and the guests on the show. And I'm not trying to sidestep the conversation. Anybody want to bring me back on for that conversation? I'm more than happy to talk about the concept of civilizations and how theology and even the Egyptians put up on the hieroglyphs helicopters that were not conceptual until recent times. So how would they know that? Or spark plugs that were found that were 4,500 years old that still work.
Yeah, that trips me out.
Right? I'm all down for that conversation. But to be fair, that's not what this interview was about. And I would much rather have that be a fresh show on the concept of theology and that civilization and how theology may have been derived.
We might be having to have you on for a second one, because my interest is piqued,
Right?
to say the least.
Right, and I'm willing to have that conversation, not this evening.
Okay.
And it's not that I'm trying to be rude to the guy. It's that this was a
Specific.
3-hour conversation in and of itself. And people are already tired of hearing me. I'm sure of it. But the idea behind that temple thing that we were talking about and the concept of letting it go out. Listen, it's not about me making money. It's about me doing the right thing. If it was about me making money, no offense, Utah couldn't have afforded to bring me out.
Yeah, I believe it.
If I thought that great and grand of myself, right? I would have told you, really, YouTube interview. It's not a TV station. I know. What's my pay for this interview? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to ask, but it's not. I don't care. I want information disseminated, and like we said in the very beginning, there is a lot of secrecy held inside everything, and it is held behind the closed doors. I think in the very beginning, it was to protect people because they didn't believe people could hold that kind of energy and be okay and not go into mass panic. And then it became, but that makes me greater than you. That makes me above you. And I don't have that concept of it. I just don't. So it's that kind of form. So when they brought me the temple, and I guess I could have said 70,000, Corey.
But there's no reason.
What was the reasoning behind it?
Yeah, it's theirs anyway.
They probably could have tapped all their members to donate. Golden Dawn's pretty big. All right. However, I am glad that he said something when he said that we're too feeble to understand it. It's not that we're too feeble. Some people are unwilling. The concept that there is something more out there other than what you can see, touch, or lick scares the hell out of people. And it's not that they're too feeble to understand that it's out there. It's they're unwilling to accept it because it goes outside the boundaries of what they have been taught. It's the box that is around them. It's just like if I don't learn about demonology, then demons don't exist. I will never cross the one's path. If I don't believe in voodoo, then anybody who's practicing voodoo can't cast a spell on me, can't do something to me, can't mess with my energy. If I refuse to believe it exists, then I am unharmed by it. It's not a feeble mind. It's an unwilling mind. And everything finds a way to communicate. Everything. Listen, I could have gotten on this show. And I could have started with a veil theorem. V are equals K plus E times the greater matter of F plus D plus G times the greater matter of N. And I could have tried to explain the entire paranormal and how energy moves through veils using this, because all numbers are 0 or 1, because it's in the quantum realm of mathematics and physics that it exists or it doesn't exist. Dear God, how many of you people would have shut off? I would have shut off.
Yeah, I would have shut off. You just lost, like 2 words in, you lost me on that. I'm like, what the hell?
Right. What difference does it make? You don't think that spirits don't realize that too? Oh, look, it's a dummy. Listen, I'm a demon. I'm going to knock something over. Right? It has a concept. Whether or not you have the ability to understand what it's saying, somebody does. Just find that somebody. Find the upperclassman that knows it. Dude, when I went to college, I found the upperclassman that knew things. Hey, anybody ever had this professor before? How bad is it? Do not use contractions. He will fail you. What do you mean? Do not write don't. It's poor English. He'll fail your paper without even reading it. That's good to know. Do not write contractions. You will fail. Instead of failing, I went to an upperclassman and asked. Same thing. Somebody knows the answer. And listen, Lydia's hit me with things that I've been like, and now I got to go look it up, dude. Give me a couple of days.
You're welcome.
Gotta research that. It's I'm just listen. And it does no good for anybody to come on and talk like that. It doesn't. And if these are intellectually superior beings or energy formats talking to us, you don't think they don't know that? Why be on this ring if not to communicate? Have a plan. But remember what I said before. Come in. You're not going to wow a demon with fancy language. Just like you're not going to wow a student by talking above their head. May make you feel big. Doesn't make anybody else feel big. Veils. I have a friend that's a medium. He's a true medium. His name is Tim Braun. Damn good. And he explained to me that the way he talks to the dead, he vibrates higher, his energy. He sits down and he works his energy into a higher vibration so that he can see and hear. But they still, and he says, come in. There are people out there who understand it. I didn't realize that. I thought you just pulled them into your space through the sound vibrations. And he goes, yes, but that's vibrating higher. Using their language is vibrating higher. Your throat is vibrating higher. And I said, I guess it is. And he goes, and do you not sit and meditate and build yourself up to go? I said, yes. I am 30 minutes late for a horse lesson and I'm being yelled at.
Oh,
Yeah, better let you go.
yes.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of our fans for watching. If you came in halfway through, by tomorrow it should be posted to our YouTube account to watch again. Thank you. We appreciate it. And thank you to Jymie for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for listening to me babble for almost 2 hours.
We will be on in a couple weeks. We're going to take a little break because we've had a lot of people on with us in the last 2 weeks. So we're going to kind of take a break from it, but we will post up when we are going to be on again. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the babbling old person.
Bye.